Hi, welcome to Troupe Talk. My name is Lexi. We are missing Cohen due to scheduling conflicts again, but we are joined by one of our alumni, the lovely Cianna.
Hello, my name is Cianna, as Lexi just said. I graduated in 2019. I did theater for 4 years, and now I'm living in California as a nursing major at COS.
That's great. So,
Yeah,
while you were in high school doing theater, what roles did you have? Like, were you an actor, a technician?
definitely not an actor. Anybody that knows me in the past knows I hated being on stage. So I was a stage manager for all 4 years and did assistant directing for God, probably 15 or more shows. And then I was a sophomore representative and a co vice president and president of the troupe
That's
my
great.
senior year. Yeah.
You were on stage for one show, though.
Oh, yes. We did Cinderella live, and I actually acted as a stage manager. So, not too far out of my comfort role. Definitely um, did okay. Not as good as the other actors, but I did my best.
I,
But it was a fun time. I didn't mind it. It was really a different perspective and experience, but I loved my little hidden dark way up in stage manager or on lights or something.
I know I got to watch her every single night as a stage manager on stage. It was great. It was the most perfect role ever.
I was nervous the entire time. I had like a few like one-liners here and there, and I always had my script backstage because I was so scared that I was gonna forget my lines, and they were like, "Where?" I think one of my lines was, "Where's my Asiago bagel?" And I would be like sitting backstage going, "Okay, you can do it." Yeah. So I don't know.
Awesome. Well, what brought you to do theater? Did you have any like middle school experience? And what middle school did you go to?
So I went to Reynolds Middle. I didn't do theater at all. Actually, in middle school, I wanted to, but it actually conflicted with some of my classes. I knew I was in choir and I just couldn't get in, but I really, really wanted to. And so freshman year, I had like an extra elective, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Like if something like comes out of it, great, which it really did in the long run, my whole high school experience. But I wasn't expecting it to. So I thought I was just going to take an acting class. And I remember Steenson um, being like, maybe you should go into directing. And I was like, yeah, maybe I should. I think I'd like that more. And then from there, it really just snowballed into this like complete enamours with like directing and wanting to write scripts and read more scripts and direct and stage manage and go on from there. And I really fell in love doing it. And it was a really good opportunity for me to grow as a person. So I just stuck with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Um, are there any skills that you got from theater that have made you more successful after high school?
Oh, yeah, completely. Even just talking and having a conversation with somebody. I mean, I can just like think of like being in theater, and a huge part of theater is obviously communicating. And I was kind of a really shy person, and I didn't really talk to people around me, and I kind of stuck with my friends and stuck to myself. But really, theater opened me to have like conversations with strangers that you are in line waiting at a grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And just simple things like that to really big things as like getting prepared for job interviews or college interviews, and really putting your name out there and getting to meet people, but also other skills like time management, organization from paper to like a bedroom, like cleaning. Um, Gosh, so many things that it affects my everyday life, that I've honestly just learned so much from theater that I use the skills that I did just doing a show into my everyday life at home, at work. I'm a barista now at college while I'm in college at the moment. And, one of the biggest things is just talking to people. So you kind of not put on a show, but, using those skills that you did when you communicated with other actors or other technicians or just people that you met in the lobby before a show, after a show. And I kind of use those skills, when I'm handing people coffee and getting to know who they are. So definitely super interesting.
I can definitely relate to that as well. Communication is a big thing that I did not used to have.
Yeah, no, it is the rest of your life will be communication. And I just did not like to talk to people, but now I don't mind because it comes naturally at this point. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So, are there any traits and skills that you think are important to have in order to be a tech or a stage manager, since that's what you did for most of your high school career?
Yeah. A really big thing that I had a hard time learning is doing what's right in the moment. So, of course, as a stage manager, you're kind of stuck between being kind of in charge, obviously, as you're running a show, but you're with some of your closest friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of setting that aside of like, yeah, it's fun to goof around and stuff, but sometimes you got to take some things seriously in order for things to go right or to just get through the scene that you're working on. Like during tech week and stuff, it's an awful week. It's a lot of standing around, questioning, moving things. And then for actors, they just have to stand there and repeat the like same 8 lines over and over and over again for hours on end. And sometimes that can get really frustrating. So, kind of controlling the balance between your friends and kind of your peers, quote, at work, kind of, because it's kind of like a job,
Mm-hmm.
It is a job. It's a big job, especially being a stage manager, trying to figure out everything going on at once to get things flowing, get things moving in the right direction. So, kind of setting that aside for my friends and learning when there's a right place to say things and to goof off. Because obviously, you want to have fun doing it, but you want it to be efficient. So, that was a really hard skill for me to learn. But I eventually got there. And, sometimes you have your anger outbreaks and you're just really frustrated and stressed. But taking that in with a great, just taking it in with a deep breath and getting through it. So, yeah, that's one big thing that I really learned doing being a stage manager.
Mm-hmm.
So,
any other skills that you think are important for people to know?
Balancing life was really hard in the moment of high school because so many things are changing and stuff. And if whoever's stage managing now, I don't know everybody. Obviously, you were a freshman when I was a senior, so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people have come and gone since then. But it's okay to be stressed, and it's going to be super stressful where you just want to sit underneath the booth stage and cry because there's so much going on with school and obviously life nowadays with COVID and everything going on. I can't imagine how these last 3 years have been for people with COVID and life, but everything will work out just fine. And take always a step back and just think this is in the moment. It's going to pass. You're not going to be stressed out forever, and it will work out. It will work out eventually, even though it doesn't feel like it. So, always trying to take a step back and look at the bigger picture in the end and not being so frazzled in the moment was a huge thing for me. So, and everything's not going to be perfect if you're a perfectionist. So,
I am definitely learning that the hard way, trying to balance
yes,
things.
it is a very hard thing to learn.
I have had many a conversation with Steenson about just
Yes,
taking it
I
back.
vividly remember, I can't remember what show it was. I think it might have been Once Upon a Mattress. It was right after Tech Week. We were doing like our first or second full run through. And like, I think we were having issues with the sounds going with the lights. And like, there's a specific monologue that kind of ended, and then the lights and music came on, and then there were sounds going on, and I was so freaking out about how it wasn't going right. And it eventually worked itself out with time, but I just wanted it to work now. And you're going to run into that every day almost. If you go to college or if you go to trade school, if you just get a job right after high school, you are going to learn the hard way. And once you learn, you'll understand why. But it will work out.
So within like all the hardships and needing to learn how to take a step back, were there any pieces of advice that you learned from your mentors? Those of you that don't know, Cianna was one of my big theater mentors my freshman year. She definitely taught me how to step out of my comfort zone a bit, because you were very like a big person. You were just like the boss. You knew everything that was going on. So
thanks.
So yeah, were there any like big best pieces of advice that you received?
Live in the moment, but you definitely want to live in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like have fun with it. Like you only go through high school once. I'm sure everyone's heard that 1,000 times, but it's the absolute truth. Live in the moment, but don't leave anything up to regretting. So like if you want to do something, just go for it. It's only going to be a part of your life, but it could be this great thing that you look back on, or a great thing that you look back on and laugh about. Go out of your comfort zone and do whatever you want to do, because you only get to do this once, right?
Mm-hmm.
And don't leave anything up for grab. Just grab it yourself and go out and do it. You know, there's a lot of things that I wish I would have done in high school. Even just going to some of the dances that I didn't go to, I wish I would have just done it. And I wish I would have just had that experience and gone out with other friends and just have a good time, because you're not gonna do that again. So I definitely learned that seeing through some of the seniors that I graduated with. You know, a lot of my friends that were older than me told me that. My family told me that, and you're going to hear it. And I didn't listen, obviously, but I mean, really just go out and do something, even though if you're kind of on edge about doing it, just go ahead and do it, because it's going to be the best time of your life. And nothing lasts forever. So if you're super stressed out or sad about something, it will pass. Life is absolutely crazy. You never know what's going to happen next, but it will all work out at the end. And I look back at things that I was so nervous about and I laugh about it. I was like, wow, that was so stupid, because I had so much fun with it and I was freaking out about nothing. So it may seem big in the moment now, but it will all be okay. For sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everyone, take that. Practice it.
Seriously, live in the moment. Do what you want to do.
Awesome. So now we got some of the serious questions out of the way. What was the funniest story that you can think of from your time doing theater at our high school? Or like the funniest mistake that you made during a show that you kind of look back and laugh on? Yeah.
I had so many things just came to mind. So it started junior year. So we had this mannequin head, right? And it was up in the costume room forever. And two of my good friends, Melissa, who started it? It was somebody else. No, it wasn't. It was Melissa and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa's my grade. We graduated together. Ethan's a year younger than us, so he graduated in 2020.
Yeah.
And so they had this mannequin head, right? His name was Tucholsky. And we had an Instagram account and everything for him. And we used to dress him up. First, it was just in the dressing room or the costume room. And we'd put like clothes on him and jewelry, earrings, I mean, everything that you can think of, all the accessories up on the door. And then it kind of migrated down into the classroom and venturing out. And like Tucholsky was married to a man. and kind of a gold digger he was, and just living his best life. And we just, everything had to do with Tucholsky. So, and and I never saw another butterfly before one of the shows. We had a jury because Tucholsky had supposedly maybe murdered his husband for money because he was an old man. Just, oh my gosh, it was so stupid. But it was so funny to think about. And we had a whole murder trial for him.
You know, I
I
remember
think he got
that.
off not guilty. So, like, I hope Tucholsky is living their best life.
You know, I
Um,
remember Danny and I like walking backstage at one point, and we were just so utterly
oh my
confused
gosh. It
as to
was
what was
so,
happening.
yeah. That that was so funny. That whole thing was. I mean, it went on like we every show, every troop meeting. I mean, Chitrowski would show up at troop meetings for us. I mean, I wish we could take him to oh, what's it called? The troop like 3 day thing. Oh my
Thespis?
gosh. Yes. Yes, that's what it's called. I couldn't remember if it I was thinking of Summit.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think they do that anymore because Thespis
Yeah,
is
it
its own
doesn't
thing
sound
now.
familiar. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Summit was a thing that we got to do, and it was kind of like a leadership, like 2 day camp slash city thing, and we got to learn about leadership skills and like the north, east, and west and south, and we got to see a show. It was super super fun, but I don't think we ever took him to Trollski with us. A lot of cheese.
Quick question.
But
For
yeah,
those that don't know, want to tell everyone how Tucholsky got their name?
I don't know actually. Do you?
I thought this is what I remember hearing from Ethan. They were just like in like the printer room or something, and it just randomly printed off a single sheet of paper, and that
Oh,
was all that was on there. That's what I remember hearing from Ethan.
really? Oh, I'll have to ask them. I actually don't know. I just remember going up into the cost. It was before one of the shows. I think it was oh, I don't. I maybe during our one acts or something. I remember going up to the costume room and trying to figure something out or grab something for maybe one of my one acts that I directed. And I just remember seeing Melissa, Ethan, I think Skylar or Emily up there just playing with this mannequin head. And I was like, I'm gonna go back downstairs now. And I did. And then he just kind of kept popping up. And I was like, this is what I'm going to accept, and this is part of our life. So I don't know how Jashowski got his name. That wouldn't surprise me if it just printed and that's where they got it from.
Awesome. Well, we've mentioned a lot of shows so far over the course of this podcast. Which
Yeah.
was your favorite show you participated in, and why?
Hmm. It's gonna be such a basic answer, but Big Fish. Oh my goodness, Big Fish for sure. Um, it was a really like hard and long process for me. We ended up going to state for it. And give some backstory here. Big Fish, I was only supposed to be assistant stage manager for that show, so I could learn how to stage manage. And the actual stage manager was in a really unfortunate accident, and he wouldn't be there for like 2 months of our rehearsals and stuff. So I remember Stevenson giving me this call one day saying, "This is what happened. I hope you're ready because you're going to probably be stage managing the show." And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so nervous. I was scared. I was just a little sophomore back then, and I didn't know anything about stage managing. I didn't even know what cues really were or how they were called. So I was definitely really nervous. And it was the second show that I was assistant directing. So I was assistant director and stage manager for that show, and I was still just getting a hang of assistant directing. So this whole new role was so scary to me. But in the end, it just turned beautiful. And it was one of the hardest learning experiences of being an assistant director, a stage manager, a person. I mean, a lot of emotions went into that show, and a lot of big changes were happening in my life during that show too. So it was definitely an experience that I will never forget. And it definitely made me fall more in love with being in theater and being around the people that love each other so much and support each other so much. And it was a different world for me. And I really just, I miss it a lot sometimes. I miss those connections with people. But Big Fish really showed me that like, this is a great life to be living. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite shows that we did.
Any other honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Ooh, I love, this wasn't really like shows. One acts were my favorite thing ever. Just a bunch of directors and the actors on their own. And just coming up with the silliest things and the silliest one acts. And really bouncing each other like ideas. Like that was just such a cool thing to me to think back on of us. Just I remember Malaysia and I were doing a one act, and she would come to my house at night because she only lived like a block away from me, and we would bounce each other's bounce ideas off of each other of like, what should I do for this scene, or like, what do you think would be good with this? And it was just a really great experience. I loved doing one acts. But I also really liked doing Cinderella Live. That was such a creative process for a lot of us. Definitely gave us more creative freedom and being able to do what we wanted to do, and bringing new ideas into the mix. So that was really cool. Also, I guess I have a lot of favorites. Sorry to ramble here.
No, you're
but
good.
Hamlet was also so fun to me. I wasn't in the show. I didn't even assistant direct. I did the lighting for that show. If anybody is out there doing lighting, like a show, it is so hard, and I appreciate you. And you are doing amazing because it is hard. But it is so much fun. And I didn't realize how much creative freedom you have by doing lights. It amazes me. And it sucks doing it in the black box on a really big ladder. It's very scary.
I love that ladder. I love that ladder so much.
I actually was I think I was putting up a light, and I was like getting towards really like late in the night, and I was so exhausted. And I was stressed out because I was like, it was my first time doing it. And like the ladder started shaking really bad, and I had a light in one hand and the cables in the other. This is very dangerous. Don't do this. But and I almost fell, and I literally just like put it up, secured it, and then walked down and walked out of the room, and like just sat outside in the lobby for a while because I was just so stressed out.
Someone else was holding the ladder, right?
Yeah, and they let go.
Oh no.
They let go because they were talking. So, yeah.
I was talking to Teeson, I think like like 2 weeks ago or something, and I didn't realize that you were the first student to do the lighting design in the black box for Hamlet, because you
I guess I was.
Yeah, because you just like wanted like a part of this show, and Teeson at that point was doing all the lighting designs, and she's told Cease, she was like, she could do lighting design if she wanted. I didn't know that.
I wanted to be a part of every single show so bad. I would do anything to do it. Yeah, I did that. I did the black box for Hamlet, and then Anna Green Gables, I did the lighting show for that, or the lights for that one.
Oh, cool.
As well. But black box was a special part in my heart because I love doing that show particularly, and the part at the end, spoilers if you've never read Hamlet or seen it, but they all almost die at the end. And so what I did is I wanted to throw something really cool in because I wanted to be special and do something fun. So I did red lights, like I did 4 like special day lights. And so when they were all dying at the end, um, each time they would fall, a red light would come on. And it created this cool kind of like, I don't know, I wish we had smoke going like a fog machine because I just remember looking at it and the red deepened like a lot of the set because the set was black as well, or like a really dark color. I can't remember if it was just black or not, but also the black box being dark. Um, it kind of made everything seem almost just a tiny bit darker, but it also glue like the people in the light were kind of lit up a little bit, and it was just I don't know. I gotta pat myself on the back for that one because I thought that was so creative at the time. Um, I really wanted to use gobos, but I wasn't allowed. I couldn't find. I didn't find one that I really liked, but I thought it'd be cool. But the red turned out pretty cool as is. So
You know, I've heard about it my high school career. I wish I could have seen it myself.
I was actually. This is sound weird. I was going through my photos the other day, and I was gonna enter it into state, and I never did. But I have a ton of photos of it, and I thought I had a ton of photos of it, but I have this one Morgan and Stinson standing in the middle in the red light, and me just panning over, going, ooh, like it's like the only video that you can see all the red and the red lights going.
God, please send that
But
to me. I want to see it.
I will find it again so far back, but I will find it just for you.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
So back to some questions. Is there anything that you would want to say to freshman Cianna?
Oh gosh, so much. Oh, so many things. I would definitely tell her, do not be afraid. Um, don't be afraid to be yourself. Be completely weird. Be completely honest. Don't hide any parts of yourself to think to fit in. There's no normal. There's no picture perfect thing in the world. Just completely be yourself and do whatever it takes to make yourself happy because you are with you every single day, 24 hours for the rest of your life. Things are hard and things are stressful, but if you're doing the things that make you happy and you know that you're giving your 100% or what looks like your 100% on those days, that is good enough. And life can suck. It does. But it's never here forever. Things aren't here forever, especially stress. It will go away a lot sooner than you think. Don't straighten your hair every day because you're going to damage it. Leave your hair natural, I would tell her. And don't change yourself. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. If you want to go do something stupid, go do something stupid. It makes a funny story. Just don't do it and get caught. Be legal. Just be smart. Would be my advice for me. Not that I did anything illegal to make clear, but don't don't put yourself in danger. What I'm basically saying. That's for everybody though. Do things that are fun, but don't do it illegally. There are legal fun things to do. That's what I would say to myself.
Great advice. 10 out of 10.
Thanks.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say to current seniors, like getting ready to graduate? This is me just fishing you for advice this entire episode.
That's fine, dude. That is totally fine. Dude, I've said this so many times, but I remember getting told this so many times and like never really listened or like never really acknowledged it. So I'm hoping this is not going to reach everybody who's listening, but do whatever you want to do and don't have any regrets about it. There's things that I wish I would have done, like the senior sunrise. I don't know if you guys are doing this because of COVID, but
We did it
the
this
senior
year.
sunrise and stuff like that. Are they doing it?
Yeah, we did it this year up in Crown Point.
Yeah, I didn't do that, and I wish I would have. It's 30 minutes out of your morning, and it could be a really great memory for the rest of your life. I always try to think of things like that now. It might be an hour or two out of your day that you have to wake up early or stay up late, but it's going to be a memory for the rest of your life. So don't regret not doing anything. If you kind of want to do it, go out and do it. If you want to try something new, do it. This is going to be a part of your life forever. So make the memories good and live everything to the fullest as you can. Go out, go hang out with your friends. And like, it's okay not to be constantly studying, focused on college, if that's your path. If you're kind of up in the air about college, go to community college. It doesn't matter what college you go to, as long as you're doing what you think is right for you, do it, because you're going to want to be happy doing something that you're going to futurely hopefully do in your life. You're going to be having to go to the same job every day or going to the same classes every day for a certain amount of time. So might as well choose something that you're going to be happy doing. Don't be stressed about this time. It will pass, and just focus on the fun parts, the senior Sundays and stuff like that. Like, just do it. It's so fun. But whatever you're planning after high school, it will be okay. There's a weird moment after you graduate where you're like, what now? And it is scary and it's very confusing. And you're like, what am I doing now that I'm out in the world for real now? It will be okay. It will work itself out, and whatever you do will be a good choice, hopefully, and you're gonna have fun doing it. I mean, there's things that I did after high school, that like moving out right away and going to school, and then COVID, I wasn't expecting any of that, but I made so many great memories doing it, and it kind of was a crappy time, but good things came out of it. So look forward to everything, but don't stress out about it, because it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if you don't get into a college that you wanted to go to. I thought I was going to stay at George Fox for 4 years, and then COVID, and then I didn't go to school for a year, and then I'm at school again, and I moved to California. So life changes really quick, and just go with the flow, because I've made so many great memories doing what I decided to do. So don't think too hard and fast on things. Really just go with the flow.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm super happy for you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well,
I'm excited for your future. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm excited too. Awesome. Well, those are all the questions that I have. But before we end off this episode, I just want to let all you listeners know that this will be our last episode of Troupe Talk for a while. This year, of course, we have been gaining a lot more in-person opportunities back, and one of those opportunities is middle school outreach. And starting next month, my fellow council member Noemi and I will be running a SUN class at Walt Morey that is all about acting and being a technician, and we want to put as much focus on that as we can. So I am putting a pause on the podcast for a while, but this is not a goodbye forever. We will be back again. But yeah, so thank you so much for Cianna for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm so excited.
We will have you anytime that you would like. Awesome. Okay, bye everybody.
See ya.